We're glad to being able to speak today here in the Druid event. So our problematic is how Druid helps analyze video services metrics. So the purpose of this presentation is to understand how at Hexaglobe we use Druid to get informations about online video services, and by the way, to help guarantee quality of services and offer best answers for marketing purposes.
So I'm Pierre-Alexandre Entregue, I'm the CTO of the company.
And I'm Anthony Courcou, a full stack developer at Hexaglobe since 2 years now.
So in this presentation, we will see how we build at Hexaglobe a video analytics portal, helping us to understand the way our customer use our services. So to do that, we will see how we collect data, how we set up a Druid cluster, and how we use Druid. So at Hexaglobe, we provide services for media company. It can be a TV channel or a content owner. And so we have a lot of brick. We will assemble together to make a service fitting the needs of our customer. So all the time, the first step is the ingestion. It can be live ingestion or video clip ingestion. And after we will transcode the content, we will manage assets on the content. We can offer subscription or billing management to the content, the advertising, and of course to deliver the content to the end user. For this service, we will focus on the delivery part. So the delivery part, the common name is CDN, a Content Delivery Network. And we will analyze all the HTTP logs made by this delivery solution in our big data analytics.
So to put everything in order and help you understand of how much data we are talking about, I decided to present to you the amount of data we used for this Druid application and use case. So we decided to work on a subset. So this subset of data is for just few of our customers for the moment. So in number users, it represents hundreds of thousands daily users and millions of monthly users. For the video data consumption, we are more than 100 terabytes video data per day and few and multiple petabytes video data per month. So you have to know that our logs are get in logs analytics server where we process it, we add information to it, and we transform it into a JSON format to being able to transfer it and to send it to Kafka queues to finally get it inside Druid and being able to store it and query it. Once we are in Druid and the logs are compressed and processed, we are talking about tens of terabytes of compressed logs per year.
So what we are doing with the log and why we need a solution like Druid to process them. The history of streaming changed a lot the past years. Whole time before, if you remember what was streaming in the late 90s, it was the real player format, which was ugly. And after it was replaced by the Flash player, which offer RTMP streaming. Those two streaming were based on a simple TCP connection. So it had a start, it had an end, and it had a URL which matched the content name. It was very easy to process, to know what really happened to this connection. Everything was made in only one. But in 2012, Apple launched HLS format. It was the first segmented protocol based on HTTP. A segmented format use HTTP to transfer small content. Most of the time is 2 seconds or 5 seconds segment of content, which are put together by the video player. So it's a very good solution, but for us it's a nightmare, because instead of having only one log per user experience, now we have hundreds of logs for the same, and they are not very well structured. We have to reassemble them to understand what really happened. So that's why we need this kind of solution. And of course, the expectation of our customer are now very high. Now, video online is very game changing for them. So they need real-time statistic. The marketing want a lot of data. The QoS must be respected, and we need to predict and analyze all what happens on our CDN to avoid breakdowns. And of course, we put all those data in this solution, so now we can even perform the billing thanks to this data source.
So what are the technical requirements for a big data service like Hexaglobe Video Analytics? So you have to know that Hexaglobe is working with lots of different customers, so a lot of different type of customers. It can be channel TV channel, it could be also streaming website or VOD live, etc. So the needs are really different. But for example, we have a lot of clients that are working with event, like sports event, for example. And if we are talking for athletics, if we're talking about 100 meters race, what is important for the customers is the analyze, so the metrics for this race. And this race is like a couple of minutes on the day. So it's important to be precise. So it's important to being able to get the statistics for those couple of minutes only, like the number of users, the consumption, if users stayed, if they left, etc. And that's why it's really important for us to have a real-time quick query system powered by a continuous ingestion. After that, as said Pierre-Alexandre, we used to work with a second solution of billings. So it helped us to follow the consumption of the users and being sure of what they consume to make the bills each month depending of that. But at the time, back to the time we use only this solution, the users, the customers, were not aware of what they were consuming. They had absolutely no visual of the consumption they was doing during the months. But thanks to Druid and thanks to the new technical requirements we had the opportunity to made and set up alerting system that allows the customers to tell us that he has a limit to not cross. For example, maybe our customers who told us that for the next month they did not want to over consume like 1 terabyte of data for the month. So we are now able to alert, to make system alert that told us like at the half of the month, the 15th day of the month, like these customers had already consumed 60 or 70% of the whole month's consumption he wanted to. So thanks to that, we can tell the user, be careful, you are over consuming, and maybe you will overpaid. So check your consumption on our service that are powered by Druid. That's why high reliability is really important for us. After that, as we explained, we have different type of customers and so different needs. Like if you are an information TV channel, you want metrics for all the day long. But if you're a sport event hoster, you just want metrics for the event, like 10 minutes on day. So the needs are not the same. So the question are not the same. So they need different queries. So that's why we need a flexible and customizable querying filtering system for our customers. Then, even if all of our clients are working on different type of metrics for different channel, different event, etc., we used to give them the same metrics. Like every client that is in sport or in information, TV channel or whatever, is interesting about queries like the number of users for the day or its consumption to be able to anticipate its billing, etc. So that's why a cache system for the repetitive client queries is really useful and important for us.
So what's the stake of using Druid? So we started developing our solution already 5 years ago. Druid was very young at this time. It changed a lot in a very good way. But already 5 years ago, we benchmarked a lot of solutions to make our video analysis solution. And Druid was for us a really game-changing software because it was able to perform very fast ingestion and crazy query on the billion of data in a very short moment. So what we had to develop outside, we had to develop a solution to get the data from our CDN node to our analysis infrastructure. And after we had to develop kind of handmade ETL because all the ETL on the market wasn't fast enough for what we have to do with. We have to enrich the log. For example, we had information about where the customer is thanks to its IP address and what kind of web browser he is using thanks to the user agent present in the log. So that's what we develop outside, and after we send it thanks to Kafka inside Druid, and Anthony will present you next.
So let me present to you the purpose for us to use the Druid data treatment. So we can share it into two sides. So there is first the quality of services metrics. So it's important for us and our customers to being able to monitor our quality of services and ensure its sustainability. And the second side is for marketing purpose. So first, let's imagine that we have a pattern of consumption. Like if we have a customer that provides sport events every day, like at the same hour or whatever, we can develop a pattern and know, for example, the share of different qualities for this event. For example, we can know that half of the users are watching in high quality. So if tomorrow we are watching the stats, so the graph and the metrics in live, and we see that only 1 on 10 people are watching in high quality, we can know that there is a problem and we can be alert that something is wrong and we have something to do, and that's why Druid is here for us. It helps us really to monitor these types of data. We can also do it with the bandwidth, for example. And once we have this information that there is a problem for the quality or the bandwidth or whatever, we are, thanks to Druid and our front solution, able to proceed a breakdown by ISP, so by telco operators, to know which one, if this is one of them, which one is causing the problem. So thanks to that, we can contact him and trying to fix the things, or we can just by ourselves trying to figure it out. So for the second purpose, this is the marketing one. So Druid can be really useful for the metrics it's giving to us, and the stat and the graph we can made and construct thanks to this. For example, our customers are now able to see the impact and the audience in different areas of the world. So they can break down this by the quality and see which quality is used in which area of the world, in which country, etc. So this is really important for them because they can have a project. They can be able to say, okay, we are thinking and we want to launch a new quality for this country, for example. So the high quality, for example, but they have to spend a lot of money to develop it and add new quality on some countries, and maybe they don't have to. And that's what we want to show them with Druid and our platform, that maybe in some country the internet connection is not as good as in France or Europe or United States, and so even now they're not accessing to the best quality you offer to them. So it's not necessary to spend money, to spend time and develop a higher quality. So it's a lot of saving money for them. And for another case, we can imagine that one of our customers is launching a new mobile app, and it's really exciting to know if it's working or not. So on the next event, it will be just on the metrics, and it will show how many people used it and if it's work or whatever. And thanks to the wheel ingestion in Druid, you will be able to see if people left like 10 minutes after going on the app. Maybe the app is too complicated or whatever. Or you can see that more and more people are watching now that there is the mobile app. And so the investment and the development worth it. So thanks to Druid and our platform, that's all the marketing purpose we want to offer to our customers.
So let's see what the end user is using. So we provide to our customers players that are integrated in the website. Here you have two examples. One is a horse racing channel, the other one is a news channel. Both have different content, are connected to our analytics solution. We have two sources of information. One is server-side. It's the log of our HTTP servers. And the other one is a plugin we provide to our customers. They're integrated in the website. And thanks to a WebSocket, we got a lot of information of what happened on the player part. So with those two sources of information, they are very complementary, and we can see for a part if there are information are matching. And for other parts, we can, for example, for the player part analysis, know if the computer of the end user is powerful enough to watch the content. And on the server side, we can know if there is no error, everything happened well.
So let me present to you our service architecture. So first, everything is produced on the origin server. So this is where our video content is produced, and it's sent from this origin once to our CDNs. So there is a lot of CDNs. They are all around the world. So one CDN is set for one geographical area. So this CDN will provide the content. It will give the video content to the players. So the players that Pierre-Alexandre just presented to you before. And it will also transfer and send HTTP logs to our logs analytics server in Python. So the logs analytics server will get the HTTP logs and also events transferred by the WebSocket of the players. Thanks to all of this, it will process it, it will add information to it, like localization, etc. And it will format it in JSON format. Thanks to that, it will be able to produce those JSONs to Kafka queues for being able to be consumed by Druid after that, and being queryable and stored in the historical nodes. After that, this is our side of the service that is taking up. So our API is contacting Druid and making query to it to get some stats and graphs, etc. that could be later displayed on the analytics portal that we develop.
So to explain and go further in our presentation, we create a fake video solution. We call it Uflix Prime. So here you have the web player of Uflix Prime, and on the right we activated the debug part of the web browser. And so you can see all the life of the request made between the client web browser and our server, the CDN server. So here you can see, as I explained you earlier, that all the segments are downloaded, and each segment is a request. So here you will see the request URL. You can see the customer name. You can see part with the language used by the segment, the amount of bandwidth used by the segment, the status code to check if everything is okay, and the remote address in the CDN node provided the content.
So thanks to this, we are getting informations of these logs. We are getting the request URL too. So through this URL, we are getting information like the service, the group, the language, the quality, etc. So for example, we create a fake customer that is called Uflix. So this is the group, this is our customer. After that, we have the service, like here, this is Uflix Live. So the service is helping us understanding what is the users watching. So it could be live streaming and whatever. We have the language, so to help us understand what users are watching. So like it's French people in this example. And we have the quality. So as we said before, the quality is really important for quality of services purpose. So after that, we are getting the IP of the user. And thanks to this IP, we can use a web service and microservices, so called GeoIP, that is like a big database that is getting some IP and bringing back some localization, geographical information, like the country, the time zone, the city, etc. And as we saw before, it's really helpful for marketing purposes, like to know where we have to improve in the world or where we lost some audience, etc.
So how we use Druid? So we use Druid with a multi-node solution. We can increase, decrease the space needed. We can have a multiple data source. We ingest content, so from the two main data feeds that I explained earlier, so the one provided by WebSocket and one provided by our enriched HTTP log solution. And we even create other data sources which are optimized to answer query very quickly. Because when you want to make query on a data set and make query on the data on range of more than 1 year, it can be very slow. But we can reduce the data inside the data set to only contain what we really need. Because our target is all the time to have a sub-second answer. So, and we use the SQL-like query too to perform requests on the dataset, and it's very easy to do with it and to tweak it to get optimized solution.
So let me present to you our data sources. So we are now working with 4 distinct data sources. So the first one is the logs. So this data source is just storing every logs we got. So it's not filtering anything. So this is mostly for the complex queries. And thanks to this big and global data source, we are able to create some other data sources that will be lighter, like the third and the fourth one. and will be more optimized for a specific service and for a specific need. So this big data source is mostly for complex queries, as I said, and is 10 terabyte big. The second one is the data source for the user logs. So this data source is a simplified version of the first one. So this is the same. This is a re-ingestion of the first one, but we have removed some elements to simplify the roll-up and to make it more efficient. Thanks to that, we can have users' information way more fast. So this is what interests our customers. So for example, the first one is 10 terabyte size, and the second one is only 66 gigabytes. So the first data source is the session one. So it provides and store every session information. So it's lightest than the two first because once again, a lot of information that are not necessary for this session are removed. So this is only 38 gigabytes big. And the last one and the lightest one is the consumption one. So this one was really important for us, as I said, for the billing and to being sure that our billing information match our Druid information, because this is only storing consumption information. We remove everything that is not necessary for this stat, for this information. So thanks to that, we can complete queries for months and even years really fast. Like for 2 years, it's just a couple of seconds or something like so. It's really important for us. And as you see, it's a simplified version as the first one. The first one is 10 terabyte big, and this one is only 7 gigabytes for the moment. So as we see, the lightest the data source is, and the fastest the queries are.
So yes, we use a lot of Druid performance indicators. We optimize the segment size. We try to create, when we had performance issue, we create data sets which are optimized for each use. It's very easy to be done. So we all the time we try to have less than 200 million row per day, and to have all the data per day is around 15 gigabytes when it's compressed. And we set up hourly rollup on our main sources. For other sources, we are on a daily rollup. And we try to limit to 4 segments per hour in our main data source.
So now let me present to you the analytics portal, so the dashboard that we created to match the customer's need. So the real need was a fast solution that is customizable with an optimized UX and UI using materialized design. So the goals was really to make solution that is a Google Analytics like, so really useful and really easy to use for our customers. So the first part of the solution is the dashboard. So as we see, there is a lot of numbers like session numbers, user numbers, consumption peak, and also average session duration. So these metrics are really useful for marketing purpose. After that, we have a really interesting graph that represents the number of visits for a service for the last weeks per hour. So in this case, we can clearly see a significant pattern that is happening. So for marketing purpose, it's really interesting because our customers is able to see if it's matching the attendees of its society, because maybe there are some events just at an hour of the day, and they are attending a peak of users, and that is exactly what we are seeing here. So every day at the same hour we have a peak, except the Friday where this is at night. So After that, we have other metrics like devices. So thanks to that, the user is able to show the devices used by his user and the live versus VOD metrics. And last one of the dashboard, all the geographical information like time zones, cities, countries, and maps to helping them understanding their influence through the world. After that, we have the consumption part, as we said, for the billing and to help customers show their data and their consumption through the time. So we offer them a lot of time filter possibility through this. Like it could be hours, days, weeks, even months and years. So it can fit every demand and every type of customers. Third one, the session part. So giving every session information as the number of session, the average session duration, number of session per hour, per month, per day, like the consumption, and even a graph that show in average how many people there is for average session time. After that, as we saw in quality services for marketing purpose, the quality page is really good. Like it allows customers to understand the status code and also which people are using which quality with which device. So after that, we have the personalized part. That is the most important because it allows our customers to create their own query and their own graph and statistic. As you can see here, the ISP operators per hour for the last 24 hours. That is a really used case for our customers to see the quality of services as we explained before. After that, we can also create queries and statistics for marketing purpose. As you can see here with the number of users for the 24 last hours by country. So we can see that is France that is first, followed by Belgium, Italy, Russia, etc. We can also change the type of the graph to make a table that is able to be exported as CSV, JSON, etc. to be treated if we want after that. So this is the solution we develop with the help of Druid and metrics we can get with it. So thank you to our listening to us, and if you have any questions, we're listening to
you.
Stop sharing. So any questions?
Q&A.
Hey guys, thank you so much for your time today, sharing your experience. My name is Jove. I'm a solution engineer with Imply here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So just for answer the first question we have, so we ingest two data sources at the same time, and the two other are ingesting real-time too, but ingesting from the first one, so the biggest one.
Internally.
If we're ingesting, how do you orchestrate that? So it's really easy through Druid. You can process a load data task, but you're not consuming from Kafka or batch ingestion or whatever. You can choose to consume for an existing data source. So this is how it works.
So how large is our Druid deployment? So we have an on-premise solution. We bought 4 servers with a lot of RAM and NVMe inside to store and analyze the data very quickly. During our development, we deploy a solution on AWS too, but only for testing. our solution is a 24 hours a day running solution. So the on-premise solution was very cost efficient. What challenge are your team still working on? Now, our main challenge are the UI, still the UI, the UX. And we have topics about AI too, because we already are predicting some things. But most of the time now, we use traditional comparison between event occurring before, comparing them with the one occurring now. We try to use deep learning to analyze the data. We have some things which is working, but not well enough to be used in production for our customers.
So were there any performance issues when you go less than our aggregations? So it's not that there is issues, but it's not efficient enough for us. So it's not answering our demands and our needs, because depending of the customers we have, the needs are very different. And so for most of our customers, the consumption, the user, the audience is not constant. So at night, if we use a minutes aggregation, the segments we will be, for the moment, with the subset we use, they will be really empty, really little, and it's just a waste of performance once we make some queries.
On the aggregation question, I don't think I've ever seen anybody on minute aggregation. I think that would be pretty aggressive. And I think another side effect that comes along with will be like potentially there will be a lot of segments.
Yes.
Yes.
And too many segments means that the queries are really too slow after. So I think our aggregation is good for us, but
yes, I think minute aggregation is perhaps when you sell concert tickets or things like that. Perhaps it can be interesting, but for us, hour is good.
Yeah, totally. And I would suspect like you guys probably have like a pretty short like retention, right? Just so that you guys don't have like a lot of segments sitting around for like let's say a year's worth of data. Looks like that's all the questions we have for today.
Yes.
Thank you for your time, everybody.
Yes, thank you for listening to us. It's a pleasure to partage, to share our Druid experience with you guys.
Yes.